The number one quality for success in business, according to the study of the presidents of the Fortune 500, of the Inc. 500 fastest growing companies in America, is unbridled optimism. These people are so positive, they should be arrested and held in padded cells. They are so positive about the future of their business that no matter what happens, they just overwhelm every difficulty. It never occurs to them that they will not be successful. They will just be successful in a different way. Now, how do you become an optimist? Well, optimism is like mental fitness. Just like if you want to be physically fit, you work out physically with your body. If you want to be mentally fit, you exercise your mind. So there's 4 things that you can do for the rest of your life to be a really positive person. Number 1 is to think and talk about your goals and how to achieve them. Is when you're thinking and talking about your most important goals, both business and personal, and you're thinking of the actions that you can take to achieve those goals, and you're actually taking those steps, your sense of optimism goes up dramatically. Number 2 is to look for the good in every situation. One of the facts is that you're going to have nothing but problems and difficulties and obstacles all your life. That goes with the nature of being in business. The only question is, how do you respond to them? And the answer is always look for something good. This, by the way, is a discovery made in interviewing thousands of the most successful people, is they make it a habit. Whenever something goes wrong, they say, well, that's good. And then find out something good about it. And there's always something good. No matter how bad the situation is, there's always something good that comes from it. The third way to become an optimist is to seek the valuable lesson in every setback or difficulty. This is the most important, perhaps, of all, is that you can focus on the problem and the loss, or you can focus on the lesson and what you can learn to be better next time. And whichever one you focus on determines whether you're positive or negative. If you are thinking about your goals, you're always positive. If you're looking for the good, you're always positive. If you're looking into your biggest problem today for the lessons you can learn from that problem, you'll always be positive. And the fourth key to optimism is to continue to learn and grow. Continue to learn new things that can help you to achieve your most important goals. And then, of course, take action. But you'll find that leaders are learners. They're constantly learning new things. And whenever you learn something new that can help you, it makes you happy. It makes you positive. It releases endorphins in your brain.
If you want to change the results you're getting in the outer world, you have to reprogram your system so it takes you to a different destination. And there's several ways to do it. Let me just give you a couple of ideas. Set a clear goal of where you want to be and what you want to do and what you want to achieve sometime in the future. It could be as simple as saying, I earn X number of dollars by this particular year. Always start a goal with the word I. Always follow it with an action verb, I earn. Be specific about the amount, not just more money, but the exact amount by this particular date. This is accepted by your subconscious mind as a command, like a command from head office down to the manufacturing floor. Your subconscious mind then accepts that command as an order and goes to work to bring it into your life, and it works 24 hours a day. So everything starts with your making a positive statement about a desired future event, but you always say it in the present tense as though it were already true. You don't say, I will lose this amount of weight. You say, I weigh this number of pounds. Now, another thing that you can do is act as if you already had the goal that you desire. So let us say, for example, you want to be financially independent. You want to be financially successful. How would you behave if you were financially successful? How would you dress? How would you organize your life? How would you treat other people? Sometimes I say, imagine that you are financially independent. You're independently wealthy, and you're only doing your current job as a courtesy to your boss and to keep yourself busy during the day. But basically, you're an extremely wealthy person. You've inherited an enormous amount of money from some source. How would you behave if you were already the wealthy person that you desire to be? Many people don't realize that if you behave like a poor person, there's an old saying that poor folks have poor ways. If you behave like a poor person, you'll always be poor. If you dress like a bum, if you have a messy home or apartment, if your car is dirty with junk in the back seat, that's how poor people live. And what happens is you're surrounding yourself with the image of being poor. And you cannot change your outer world until you change your inner world. And one final thing that you can use to reprogram your mind is to talk to yourself positively about the person that you want to be and the things that you want to have. When you see a beautiful car, you say, I drive a car like that pretty soon. When you see beautiful clothes, you say, those are the kind of clothes I wear. When you see beautiful homes, you say, I'm going to live in a house like that. Is keep talking to yourself about the things that you want to have and the person that you want to be. And each time you do, you're reprogrammed. And your subconscious mind is accepting your new commands and is working 24 hours a day to bring them into your life. Just give it a try and see what happens. Now, I have written a book called $1 Million Habits. It has 12 chapters, 12 critical areas of life. And in each chapter, there's 20 or 30 habits. So let me give you some of the best. Number one, develop the habit of daily goal setting and goal orientation. What does this mean? It means when you go to sleep at night, think about your goals for the coming day. Make a list for each day of all the goals, the little goals you're going to accomplish that day. Keep a journal and write down your goals on a regular basis. When you're driving through the day, think about your goals. When you're talking to other people, think about your goals. You see, you do become what you think about most of the time. You do achieve what you think about most of the time. So all successful people and all wealthy people think about their goals most of the time. Second of all, be results-oriented. Now, results-oriented people are always thinking of the most important things that they can do right now to achieve their most important results. Successful people make a list of everything they have to do, and before they start working, they set priorities on the list. Here's a great way to become result-oriented. Actually, it's life-changing. Ask yourself, once you have your list for the day, if I could only do one thing on this list before I was called out of town for a month, what one activity would I want to be sure to get completed? And put a circle around that and start on that activity immediately, first thing, and then discipline yourself to work nonstop until you complete that one activity. This simple technique has taken people from rags to riches all over the world for at least 100 years. Pick your most important task and start on it immediately, and then discipline yourself to stay with it until it's complete. Another habit that you can establish is to become people-oriented. Recognize that everything that you achieve in life is going to be with the help or support or cooperation of other people. So always think, what is it that other people want and need from me? How can I help other people so they'll want to help me back? If you're in sales, top salespeople think about their customers all the time. They think about who their customers are and what their customers want and how they can help them the most and how they can help them even more today. In their relationships, successful people are very focused on the most important people in their worlds, both personal and in business. Another habit you can have is to stay health-oriented. Think about your health most of the time. Think about eating less food and better food. Think about daily exercise. Think about getting lots of rest. Remember, to be successful in our competitive world, you need a lot of energy. To have a lot of energy, you've got to eat good foods, get lots of rest, and exercise all the time. One of the most important habits is that of character and honesty, is always tell the truth no matter what the price. And the final characteristic, the final habit, is that of self-discipline. And I have written and spoken upon this for years and years and years, but self-discipline seems to be the foundation habit that makes everything else possible. And the best definition of self-discipline is that self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. You see, anybody can do it if they feel like it. It's when you don't feel like it and you do it anyway that you eventually develop the self-discipline that makes everything else possible. What is the one habit that you should start to develop right now that will help you more than any other habit to achieve your most important goals? One of the most important habits you can ever develop is the habit of zero-based thinking. In zero-based thinking, you put every one of your previous decisions on trial for its life on a regular basis. You ask this question: is there anything that I am doing today that, knowing what I now know, I wouldn't get into again today if I had to do it over? Apply this question to every part of your life, especially to your job, your career, and your current situation. If you were not doing what you are currently doing, would you get into it again today, knowing what you now know about this area? Asking and answering this question takes a good deal of courage. The fact is, in a world of rapid change, you will always have situations that, with your current knowledge, you wouldn't get into again today if you had the choice. These situations will almost always be the primary causes of stress or dissatisfaction in your life. They will cause you the most aggravation and frustration. If you stay in a zero-based situation long enough, it can even make you physically ill. Now, if the answer to this question, is there anything that I'm doing that I wouldn't get into again today, is yes, then your next question should be, how do I get out of this situation and how fast? Often you can change your entire life by simply having the courage to face up to the fact that your previous decision has not turned out to be as good as you originally thought it would be. There's nothing wrong with this. You are not perfect. Everyone makes decisions they later regret. This will happen throughout your life. It's not possible for you to be successful and happy in your career or job if, knowing what you now know, you would not make the same decision if you had to do over again today. The only question you have to ask is, how long are you going to stay in a situation that you know is not right for you? Now, here's one final point. When you finally decide to get out of a bad situation, the only question that you will ever ask is, why didn't I do this a long time ago? Nobody ever says, oh, I got out of the situation too soon. They always say, why didn't I do this a long time ago? So look into your life, look into your stress points, and ask yourself, is there anything that you're doing today that, knowing what you now know, you wouldn't get into? And if there is, get out of it as fast as you can. Optimists look for the good in every problem or difficulty. When things go wrong, as they often do, they say, that's good, and then they set about to find something positive about the situation. And what we know is that if you're looking for something good or beneficial in a person or situation, you'll always find it. And while you're looking, you'll be a more positive and cheerful person. Now, optimists seek the valuable lesson in every setback or reversal. Rather than getting upset and blaming someone else for what has happened, which is what most people do, they take control over their emotions by saying, what can I learn from this experience? So resolve today to develop a positive attitude toward yourself, the people around you, and your life.
Happiness is the progressive realization of a worthy goal or ideal. When you actually feel yourself moving progressively toward achieving something that's important to you, you feel happy, and your brain releases endorphins. Now, endorphins are different from dopamines, but endorphins are nature's happy drug. They make you happy. Endorphins make you more creative. They make you calmer. They make you more personable. They make you more focused, and they give you more energy. So people who have high levels of endorphins are very healthy. They sleep well. They're very personable. They're creative all the time. And you can actually develop a positive addiction to endorphins. And the way you do that is you work on things that are moving you toward your goals on a regular basis. And so every day you feel this forward progress, this forward momentum. Human beings are designed so that we're only happy when we feel effective, when we feel that we are accomplishing something, when we feel productive, when we feel valuable. There's one of the challenges we have with welfare in any country that has it, but especially in the U.S., is people can very quickly get addicted to welfare, but by becoming addicted to welfare and free money, they become angry, they develop feelings of inferiority, they become alcoholic, all the joy in life is gone when they're not doing something productive, when they're not contributing. The rule is that your self-esteem and self-confidence are largely determined by the degree to which you feel you are putting more in than you're getting back out. And it's a very simple concept, is you feel that you're actually contributing more than you're getting. If you're at a job and you feel that you're not contributing as much as they're paying you, you feel really angry. It seems to have a deep negative effect on your personality. But when you feel that you're doing a great job, that you're really making a difference or a contribution, you feel wonderful about yourself. And the only way that you can achieve that is by having clear goals and then focus.
If you sincerely want to be rich, to achieve all your financial goals, and to retire as a self-made millionaire, one of the smartest things you can do is to develop the habits of thinking and acting that have enabled others to become self-made millionaires. What is so hard about this to understand? Most people are thinking of how little money they have. They worry about being broke. They're worried about lack and poverty. They're worried about the prices of everything, and they're wondering why they're not flourishing financially, because they're thinking about poverty and lack rather than prosperity and abundance. Now, these habits of financial success are learnable, as all habits are, by practice and repetition. In other words, you can program yourself to think like self-made millionaires. And remember, it has to start on the inside before it ever comes true on the outside. Achieving financial success is very difficult, and it does not happen by accident. It happens by very deliberate design and a long period of disciplined persistence in doing the things necessary. Now, at a certain point in life, each person comes to a crossroads with his or her financial goals. One road leads in the direction of earning, saving, and accumulating, while the other road leads in the direction of earning, spending, and getting into debt. And 80% of the population take that road because it's fun and easy. Now, as a fully responsible adult, you must decide which road you're going to take. And no matter what road you've taken up until now, you're free to choose the road that you're going to follow from this day forward. One of the great lines that I teach is that it doesn't matter where you're coming from. All that really matters is where you're going. You can't change the past, but you can totally change the future by taking a different direction today. There's a great story about Mike Todd, a theater director who had invested all of his money in a production and lost it all and was broke. And someone once asked him, "Hey, Mike, how does it feel to be poor?" He said, "I'm not poor." He said, "Poor is a state of mind. I'm just broke, and that is temporary." And within a few months, he was back on top again. He was once more a self-made millionaire because he had the mindset. So self-made millionaires did not gain financial success merely by luck. Luck does not factor into it. In order to become a self-made millionaire, you must set financial goals and work toward achieving financial success every day. And if you do that persistently and consistently, day by day, week by week, month by month, you will achieve all your financial goals.
How do you become a great problem solver? And the answer is you focus on the solution rather than the problem. You think intensely about solutions all the time. Now, what is it that average people, the bottom 80% of people, think about when a problem arises? The answer is who did it and who's to blame. They are focused on the past and the problem. What's the problem and who's to blame? What is it that top people do? They say you cannot change a past event. This problem has occurred, so now it is a reality. So the only question now is, what do we do about it? How do we solve it? What is our next action? And so when you constantly think in terms of solutions, you become more and more valuable. And the more you think in terms of solutions to any problem in your life, the more you come up with solutions, the more creative you become. You become smarter and brighter. And when you are solving problems and discussing different choices and alternatives, you become more positive, you become more powerful, you become more influential, and eventually people say, "We've got a problem, take it to him, take it to her," because they're really good at solving problems. And your mind is in problem-solving mode all the time. It's like it's clicked on and running all the time. And so you start throwing problems in the top of your hopper, and the solutions are coming out all the time. Because you think about solutions, not blame. When you think about blame, it shuts down your brain. When you think about blame, who's to blame for the problem, it shuts down your creativity. It makes you negative, it makes you angry, and it makes you a negative influence on others. But when you think about solutions, you become the most important person in the room.
Successful people are not those who necessarily make the right decisions all the time, but by hanging in there, they make their decisions right. If they make a mistake, they accept it. They learn as much as possible from it, failing and making mistakes, and carry on. The more you fail and the more mistakes you make, the smarter you become, and the more likely it is that you will eventually achieve your goals. You also need the courage to accept complete responsibility for your life, which means to take ownership for results. You need the courage to refuse to make excuses or to defend yourself. You need the courage to say, over and over again, I am responsible. I am responsible, and refuse to blame anybody else.